I'm Alan Colmes. Welcome to our show. We are attempting to make contact with C.J. Grisham, the president CEO of Open Carry Texas, with whom we have arranged to speak at this time. And a connection has not yet been made. This is a group in Texas called Open Carry for a reason. They feel this, of course, is their right and wish to let people know that at every turn. They've been going to various restaurants touting their rights and toting high-capacity weapons. Innocent families looking to mind their own business have been just trying to enjoy their meals. Some of them feel they're safer with guns around, others not. Anti-weapons groups like Moms Demand Action have been urging some of the restaurants that Open Carry Texas has been going to prohibit them from coming in. In fact, they've been stopped, asked to leave at a couple of restaurants, particularly at Chipotle and Chili's, where there was much controversy about their appearance there. And earlier this week, Open Carry notified its members that they're to immediately cease taking shotguns and rifles into businesses after the Tarrant County chapter had an incident at Chipotle. So let me now welcome C.J. Grisham, President and CEO of Open Carry Texas. How you doing, C.J.?
Hey, Alan. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on the program tonight. I appreciate it very much. As you know, your group has been a subject of much controversy.
We're well loved all around the 50 states.
I'm sure there's somebody in each state who loves you. That would be at least 50 people. Mother Jones, as you know, reported on April 10th that Brett Sanders, a member of Open Carry Texas in Plano, posted a video on YouTube highlighting the name and cell phone number of a woman who'd called police after seeing heavily armed men on her way to a shopping mall, and then her information was posted online. What's your participation in that?
We have no participation in that. That was an individual doing an individual thing. We did address that, and while the execution was...
I think we lost you there for a second. Go ahead. You said you had no participation in that?
Yeah, we have no participation in that. That was an individual that did something with good intentions but bad execution.
She got pummeled with text messages, voicemails, copies of which she provided to Mother Jones. And the person who did it, Brett Sanders, when asked by Mother Jones to comment, said, "I'll talk only to real news organizations." She was called a stupid B word and an MF whore.
Okay, and again, that's not speaking for Open Carry Texas. That's an individual. People on both sides of the gun rights, gun control organization are disgusting to each other. I agree. Those are disgusting comments. I can't speak for another individual, though, because he wasn't...
So you don't support that kind of... You don't support, and you would renounce putting out personal information of somebody who might object to what you're doing.
Well, if that's the sole intent, I mean, what he was trying to do was share a 911 call about somebody complaining about people waving American flags. What he should have done is, blot it out or somehow remove the audio of the phone number or even the name like we do. But again, it wasn't done. He is a
member of Open Carry Texas, right?
Well, yeah, but he's a member of a lot of organizations. That doesn't mean he represents every organization in what he does. It's one person. We do not agree with the way and the manner in which the name was highlighted in the video, but we do agree with the fact that he released a video of somebody calling to complain about people waving flags that just happen to have guns. I mean, that's what the call was about. The call was about her complaining about people waving the American flag.
Do you think that required a call to the police department? Or that required your response if a woman feels threatened?
I don't think she felt threatened because she drove right back to where we were. I mean, if you honestly feel threatened, are you going to drive back to where you're complaining about? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if I'm being robbed and I'm able to get away from my robbers, I'm not going to run back to the robbers.
Now, Mudflats, another website, reported back in November about a Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense meeting. I know they're a group that's opposed to you. They had a meeting in Arlington, Texas, and Mudflats wrote about your group showing up with assault weapons and American flags, and the Texas chapter of Moms Demand Action said, members of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America gathered for a membership meeting at Blue Mesa Grill. We were confronted soon by gun advocates who disagree with our goal of changing America's gun laws and policies. They held their armed protest in the parking lot, and our mom members and restaurant customers were terrified by what appeared to be an armed ambush. Sadly, these bullies feel they must use guns to intimidate moms and children and try to inhibit our constitutional right to free speech. Was that your group?
Oh, well, that was our group that was there, but I completely disagree with everything that was said. First of all, our members don't have assault rifles, but we can argue that later.
Yeah.
Second of all, that location, that parking lot that we went to, that group had that thing planned well before. Now, we had talked about the fact that we changed the time, but we go to that place all the time. And let me remind people, Moms Demand Action has crashed numerous events of ours, but we're not whining to the media about it. The fact of the matter is that we had a rally outside where they were having an event. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was killed. Nobody was injured. We proved that guns are not the problem because it happened. Nobody was intimidated unless they forced themselves to be intimidated because we stayed away from the Moms Demand Action.
Well, they're saying they were terrified by what appeared to be an armed ambush. Can you understand why people might feel that way?
An armed ambush. I mean, I've been to combat twice. I know what an ambush is, and it was nothing like that. So, I mean, I don't even understand. I don't even understand what an armed ambush is in the context.
What made you decide to go there with assault weapons in the first place?
We always go there. We always go there, and we always carry rifles. It was nothing.
You always go where? You always go to these Moms Demand Action meetings?
No. We go to that location, Alan. That location where they held their meeting. I have no doubt they held it there because that's where we frequently start our walk.
So, in other words, they went. Your claim is that they went there because they knew you'd be there.
Well, I'm not going to make that claim at all because I can't read their minds. All I'm saying is we go to that exact same parking lot frequently. We did before they came there, and we have our events there. Now, whether they chose it for that reason or not. But, Alan, after this event, when we heard that they felt terrified, we offered to pay for their lunch and go nowhere near them. We offered them a gift card to pay for their lunch so they could have lunch.
That's so nice.
So they could have lunch in peace without us, and they refused to accept our offer.
We're talking to C.J. Grisham, President and CEO of Open Carry, Texas. You know about the incidents that have been widely reported at Chipotle and Chili's, where your group came with guns into those restaurants, and Chipotle has issued a statement requesting that customers not bring weapons into the restaurant. I think Chili's has done the same thing. Why did you go to those restaurants?
For the Chipotle one, we were invited. The manager there is very gun-friendly. He's actually still gun-friendly. So we were invited to that Chipotle. And what's not being reported in that incident is there was never a problem when we went to that Chipotle. There was never a problem locally. There was never a problem statewide. There wasn't a problem until Moms Demand Action picked up a photograph from one of our private Facebook pages, which you have to be a member of to even see. So apparently they're crashing our parties, but we're not going to complain about that. They grabbed a photo and then initiated a statewide campaign against the complete non-issue. We were invited in there. We had 4 uniformed SAPD officers, San Antonio Police Department officers with us. And it was not a problem. There were 2 officers inside with us and 2 officers outside throughout the whole thing. It was a complete non-event.
Then why is Chipotle now saying they requested customers not bring weapons in?
Well, because now it's being made a national campaign by these gun control extremists that are using national assets.
Well, does Chipotle have a point to say, look, we don't want our customers feeling intimidated. Don't bring guns into our restaurant?
Chipotle can do whatever it wants. It's a private business. But the fact is the customers weren't intimidated at this restaurant. Nobody was intimidated. Nobody felt uncomfortable. We were invited in there. We took pictures and had great conversations with the customers inside the Chipotle. So, I mean, but I'm not going to argue whether or not they made the right choice or not.
What about at the Texas Sonic and Chili's franchises, where your group went in, again, with firearms, and were met with, and I quote Mother Jones, nervous and angry responses?
Well, the Sonic, the Sonic deal was one in which they just got comfortable. And what I mean by that is all the Sonics that they've gone to so far in San Antonio, and they hold these events all around the city, had been very supportive. And usually we call ahead of time before we go into any restaurant. But what happened was they figured that since all the times we've gone to a Sonic, they've been friendly and accepted to it, that it would be the same at this one, and it wasn't. So the one time they don't call is the one time this became an issue. And again, this was a video that was put up that we had them take down within an hour, and the purpose of them putting up the video was to show how we respect private property rights. If you ask us to leave, we're going to leave. We're not going to argue with you. We're not going to cause a scene. We're just going to leave. But what it does show is that gun control extremists are very quick to be rude and condescending and call names.
Well, are you a gun control extremist if you're just trying to enjoy an evening or an afternoon at a restaurant and you feel intimidated by people with guns?
You're a gun control extremist when you're calling people names and basically verbally assaulting them for doing nothing more than exercising their rights.
Why were the videos of those restaurants, which initially were posted by your group, removed?
We removed them almost immediately because we could tell that this was going to be a negative. It wasn't going to. The San Antonio group had a purpose for posting it. And when I personally saw the videos, I said, you're not going to get that intent. You're going to get the exact opposite. All people are going to focus on is somebody asked you to leave. When their intent was to show that we respect private property rights, and if we're asked to leave, we leave without issue. So obviously that's not the conversation we're having, because we do respect private property rights. If a business doesn't want us there, then we just won't spend our money there. It's that simple. We're not going to engage in a nationwide campaign to boycott someplace because we disagree with
Isn't your goal really in these restaurants to go in because you can, to show that you have your Second Amendment rights, as you put it? Isn't that why you're doing this?
No, it's not at all. We don't go to these restaurants to have our events. We go to these restaurants after our events, and we go because we've been invited. Now, the San Antonio group in this particular instance didn't go about the normal policy that we have of contacting restaurants ahead of time, and it bit them in the butt. And they've learned from that. But the goal is just to go and eat after an event, and we don't hold events in restaurants.
Why are you videotaping it? Then why are you videotaping it? If your goal is just to go and enjoy a meal, why videotape it and post them?
Well, we videotape everything that we do.
Every time you go for a meal?
No, we videotape whether we're walking down the road, whether we're talking to police officers, whether we're in a restaurant.
See, when I'm dining, I don't really like to be videotaped when I'm eating a salad.
Well, we weren't videotaping you. But here's the thing. We do the videotapes for our protection because we have got so many people lying to the police about what we're doing, how we're doing it. We've got these gun control extremists that are lying about the fact that we're pointing weapons at people when that's not happening. And so our members videotape their entire walks and their entire events for the sole purpose of self-protection. That's it.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break. Back with C.J. Grisham of Open Carry, Texas, in just a moment.
Had your fill of shallow talk radio? Well, Alan rolls in the deep. Alan Colmes.
We are talking to the head of Open Carry Texas, C.J. Grisham. Before we get to some calls here, pardon me, C.J., recently your group has also approached motorists, handing them copies of the Constitution while carrying guns. Why would you do that?
That's actually not our group, Alan. That's a group called Open Carry Tarrant County. They are not affiliated with Open Carry Texas at all.
Open Carry Tarrant County is listed as a member of Open Carry Texas Coalition on its website.
It's on the right-hand side. That just means it's another open carry group. Just like around the country, there are open carry groups all in every state. They're
an affiliate of your group. They list themselves as such on your site. You can't tell me there's no affiliation.
There's no affiliation. It's just like there's no difference between our affiliation with Open Carry Tarrant County and our affiliation with the NRA. We're two completely separate groups with similar goals.
Okay. When you say similar groups or with similar goals, do you support going up to motorists, handing them copies of the Constitution while carrying a gun?
Well, I don't have a problem with handing a Constitution to somebody that wants one.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. You know what they did? They walked up to motorists, stopped at intersections, handing them copies of the Constitution. Motorists not asking for anything except they're riding in their cars, minding their own business.
You're wrong. Alan, you're wrong, though. That's not what they do. They stand on the corner, and if somebody wants a Constitution, they will roll their window down.
There's actually video of them walking up to a car, handing a driver a Constitution, carrying a gun.
Absolutely. These people ask for a copy of the Constitution. We don't just walk up to people.
Wait a minute. In other words, someone riding down the street is going, hey, can I have a copy of the Constitution? Raising their hand, asking them to come over. You just happen to be riding in your car, asking for a copy of the Constitution? Pardon me?
We're talking about being stopped at a stoplight.
Right. What I've in many all the times I've driven, I've never been stopped at a light asking for a copy of the Constitution. You're telling me that motorists stop at lights asking for copies of the Constitution, and a member of open carry just happens to have one?
Well, no, that's what we have. We have Constitutions and we have flyers that we hand out to those people that want them. Otherwise, we're just out there exercising our rights.
I see. So someone at a traffic light sees a member of the group with a gun and says, hey, can I get a copy of the Constitution?
That's exactly how it works, because we have them up and we're asking them, you guys want a copy of the Constitution? It's very simple. That's how it works.
It's odd. Okay. Eric in Phoenix, hello.
Hi there. I just wanted to ask, I don't even know the name of the
Mr. Grisham, C.J. Grisham.
Mr. Grisham, I was wondering if, you said you didn't want to be called names. If you feel that calling somebody an extremist or a gun control extremist is calling them a name.
Yeah, it's a good question. As a matter of fact, every word that we've ever had to use, we've actually used. For example, we used to be called gun bullies, so we just reciprocate with gun control bullies. Now they're moving over to gun extremists, so we've moved over to gun control extremists. All we're doing is just parroting the language of the gun control movement.
So they do it. In other words, it's okay because they do it too.
Oh, okay.
I figure it must be okay.
So you're going by their standards?
No.
In terms of name calling,
we're just saying gun control extremists. We're not calling people individual names. So it's a blanket term.
Okay, well, look, extremists. I'd be happy to be called an extremist because I wear that label proudly. But anyway, thank you, Eric, for the call. So, what are the next things you have planned? Any other events planned by Open Carry Texas that will get you this kind of attention?
Well, we have events every week, Alan. We're doing something almost every day somewhere here in Texas. One of the things that we are doing is we've changed our tactics because the conversation has shifted from open carry of handguns in Texas to whether or not we should be carrying rifles into businesses. So what we've asked our members to do is to stop carrying rifles into businesses so we can get back on the message, so we can start getting open carry of handguns passed and become the 46th state to do so.
I want to clarify before we part company that you absolutely do not endorse releasing personal information of women or anybody else who may complain about what your group is doing.
We do not at all. We do not endorse that at all, and we recommend that people, when they publish these, if they're going to release a 911 call, cover up the personal identifying information. Right. There's no sense.
All right, Mr. Grisham, I thank you for your time. Thank you for talking to us tonight.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Thanks very much. We're coming right back. Lines are open. Name and town only.